Hi, first graders. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're doing well. We are going to go back to our parts of a letter song. Last week we learned about the 5 parts of a friendly letter. So today I'm going to add a clap clap to it, and I'm going to sing it once, and I hope you'll sing it along with me, and then I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to listen for you to sing it. All right, here we go. Parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter. The 5 parts of a letter are easy to remember. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. The 5 parts of a letter are easy to remember. Heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. Parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter, parts of a letter. All right, now it's your turn. Let me hear you do it. Here we go. Very nice. All right, so are you ready to write your own letter? I think that you are. So we are going to work on our own letters today, but before we do that, I wanted to do a few examples with you. So if you take a look at the screen, you'll see that there is a sample letter here, and it says parts of a letter, and you'll see that there's labels on this one: heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. So this is just an example that I found online. You'll see the heading, which is the date, February 3rd, 2013. The greeting says, "Dear Mom." And then here's the body. I am having so much fun at summer camp. Yesterday, we made bird feeders out of pine cones, peanut butter, and bird seed. Today, we are going swimming in the lake. I am excited because there is a big water slide to go on. I miss you and Dad. I will see you in another week. Here's the closing, love, and then the signature. Her name is April. So obviously this was a girl writing to her mom from summer camp, overnight camp. Okay, so today you are going to get a template that looks like this. If you have a printer at home, you can print this out. If not, you can make your own. But you are going to now have the opportunity to write your own letter to anyone that you would like. So if you have a relative who lives out of town, like an aunt or an uncle or a grandma or a grandpa, or maybe you want to write to a friend who you just haven't seen in a while, a friend from school, or a friend from out of town or another school, anybody who you want to write a letter to, now is your opportunity to. And if you have more than one person that you want to write a letter to, that's okay, because we're going to write more than one of these. But for now, I just want you to pick one person, and I'm going to show you what I want you to do. Okay, so I decided that I'm going to write a letter to my niece. She lives in Florida, and her name is Alexis. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill out the heading. Now, I'm going to type so that you can see what it looks like, but obviously you're going to write on yours. So you're going to print this out and write in pencil, or you can just use plain paper and write it the same way. Okay, so the date today is May 12th. So that means 5 stands for the month of May. Then I'm going to do my /12 because it's the 12th day in May, and then 20 because we know it's 2020. Okay, so there's my date. I already wrote the dear for you. So that means in this, on this line, all I have to write is the person's name who I'm writing it to. So in this box, I'm going to write Alexis. Now, if you're writing it to more than one person, you could write dear grandma and grandpa, or dear Nana and Papa, or whoever you're writing it to. You can just write the 2 names here. After I write the person's name, I'm going to do a comma after. So that's just another part of the letter that you might have noticed already and you might not have. But after we write the greeting, there's always going to be this comma after the person's name. Okay. And that comma is just that little line that looks like that. And it's, that looks like this. And it's right next to, or it's right at the bottom of the name. Okay. Now I have my body. So here's a chance where you really can have the opportunity to be a little bit creative. So maybe whoever you're writing to, you want to tell them about some things that have been going on with you. Maybe you want to ask them about what's going on with them. Maybe you have some really fun news that you want to share. It can really be anything that you want. So since Alexis is my niece and she lives in Florida, I think I'm going to start by saying, I miss you very much. Then I might ask her a question. How has the weather been in Florida? Then I might say, the weather here has been sometimes warm and sometimes cold. Okay, so this is pretty short. I could definitely add more to this body if I wanted to, but it's okay because we're just sort of getting into the habit of including the 5 parts of a letter using the 5 parts of a letter in our friendly letter. So even though I could probably say a lot more to her and ask her a lot more, I'm just going to make it short for now because I really want to get in the habit of using that heading, greeting, body, closing, signature. Okay? So my closing, you can really do a variety of things for closing. If you're writing to somebody who's close to you, love is always a good option for a closing. You could also say from, you could say sincerely, you could say take care. Okay, I would say that probably a good one to start with, or 2 good ones to start with, would be either love or from. And since she's my niece and I'm close to her, I'm going to write love. You'll notice that I also put a comma right after the closing. That's something that you're also going to get in the habit of doing. So at the end of the greeting, there's a comma, and at the end of the closing, there's also a comma. And then the signature is easy because that's where you're going to put your name. And it's funny because you guys know me as Miss Kaplan, but you know my name, my first name is Lindsay, but actually my niece, Alexis, she just calls me Aunt. Not even Aunt Lindsay. She just calls me Aunt. So my closing is going to be love, and my signature is going to say Aunt because that's what she calls me. All right, so let's take one last look at this before I let you go try it on your own, okay? So again, we have our heading, which is the date, 5/12/20. I already wrote dear for you. The greeting is going to be whoever you're writing it to. So write that person's name and the comma after it. Then the body. Remember, this can be the time that you ask the person some things about themselves, tell them some news about yourself, anything that you really want to write about that you think the person would be interested in hearing or interested in answering. Okay, so again, mine says, I miss you very much. How has the weather been in Florida? The weather here has been sometimes warm and sometimes cold. You'll notice that I remembered at the end of my sentences to put my punctuation. I used an exclamation mark, I used a question mark, and I used a period. You'll also notice that I started all of my sentences with capital letters or uppercase letters, just like we always do. So really try and remember to use those uppercase letters at the beginning of sentences and the punctuation at the end. Okay? And then the last part, the closing, which I suggested using love or from, and then your signature can be your first name, and your last name, or if you have a nickname that the person uses, like I do, you can feel free to do that. Okay? So go ahead and do that. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And make sure you hold on to whatever you write, because tomorrow, when we do live learning, you are going to have the opportunity to share your letter that you wrote. Okay? So I can't wait to hear your letters. Good luck. I'm proud of you. I know you can do it. Go be tenacious and work hard. See you later.